Hey friends, welcome back to King Arthur Pendragon 5.2, The Great Pendragon Campaign, the 24th episode. This is the only Pendragon campaign where you will find references to Breakfast at Tiffany's during its creation and execution. So, we've got that going for us. We were doing some things last time. A lot of things. We got through Pentecostal Feast. Now, we got... Oh, come on, Spoon. Give me a break.
Tradition.
Just me trying to start the show. No big deal. Anyone else want to do anything real quick? Or I just want to let you get it out of the way. Any announcements you guys have? Silly business. Everyone in the Roll20 got a coffee, been in the bathroom.
I have a terrible gaming story to tell, but I don't think it's going to be that appropriate to this show. So I'll tell you guys after the show's over.
Wow.
Or on break.
Wow, not appropriate to this show.
Well, it relates to a Twitch channel, but it's a
to my Twitch channel.
Yeah, no, to a Twitch channel.
Oh,
I'll tell you.
Twitch channel.
I'll tell you in the first break, and you can tell me if you think it's relevant to the whole audience.
I don't know what the audience wants. I need someone to make a movie with Mel Gibson called "What Audiences Want." That will thoroughly give me all the wrong answers I need for about 8 years until I realize it's just a movie. Okay. It's free time up and down the board for you guys. After the Pentecostal Feast, you have time to make moves for yourself. You know that at some point midsummer, there may be a hunt with a manor on the line as a sort of let's keep Salisbury together sort of deal. If your answer to is there anything you want to do is I don't have anything I want to do, that is a perfectly reasonable answer before we move forward. But some of you may have things you wish to do the mid-spring to the midsummer.
Well, so I guess this is an in-character conversation at some point between the group of us. While we're planning out some of it. And this may be done by letter, I don't know. But first off, we've all received additional manners by the Countess's grace for our actions recently. So, I certainly don't need more manners. I don't know if any of you do. But my question is that, Kendric, you're quite a storied hunter. What if we were to consider going into this hunting competition, and is there anybody that we think we could elevate if we had a spare mana to provide them? Anybody who we think is worthy of such activity?
Well, I had planned, if I had won the hunt, to invest Hayden, my squire, from tonight.
So the answer is yes. And so we should do whatever we can to ensure that you do win.
I had a mechanics question about how these extra manners work.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, if I have my notes right, I received Steeple Langford, which is quite a ways away from Laverstock.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that many people to, stick in it. So how does running a second house work mechanically?
So the way that you're sorry, AP, do you want to tackle this, or do you want me to
let you go ahead? I mean,
Okay.
You guys have been running multiple manners. So.
Yeah. So the way I've been running it since like the second session, when Wayne got married and got manners, is that if they're not in Fife, like they don't have a household knight managing them, then effectively you're drawing the income of that manor directly into your funds without paying the 6 libra it costs to pay the cost that night. Now, the system from Book of the Manor which we're using doesn't allow for managing and doing upgrades on more than one manor. So the other one just sort of sits there generating the same income year on year without really doing anything. Book of the Estate, which is the more modern one, does allow you to sort of manage multiple properties, but it also takes out a lot of the granularity of what you do with your main one. Like you don't worry about putting in things like wells and roads and that sort of stuff. Then if you then have a knight you want to put into that manor, effectively you no longer draw the full income from the manor because you're now paying 6 libra to that knight to pay for their family as such. But the advantage of investing a knight in it is that once you have enough knights invested in manors, you then become a banneret lord, which ups your own income and also increases your yearly glory.
Okay.
But basically, it more or less takes care of itself.
Yeah.
I
So to
believe
speak.
with Book of the Manor, secondary manors generate 10 pounds.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. Because if we aren't using Book of the Manor, it's 6, but we are using Book of the Manor, so it's 10.
Yeah.
So what I would have told you, James told you a whole lot of stuff. What I would have said is you get 10.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
James told you all the right stuff, though, and all the right reasons.
Yeah.
We will eventually switch to Book of the Estate at a more advanced point in the campaign when each house is managing many manors, and it makes more sense in the same way that we will also eventually introduce Book of Feasts. And hey, there's some talk about Pendragon on Foundry. If that happens, I will finally.
It's already out.
Is it?
They're in beta. They're in beta, but it's for the new edition of Pendragon.
Well, I'm waiting for that full rulebook to come out, and we'll probably switch to that. And at that time, I may finally get to kill my Roll20 subscription again. I'm gonna retire from Roll20 for the second time, which is not the same as retiring from Roll20. I'm retiring for the second time, which is like retiring 3 times.
The one thing I'll say about extra manors is that, like anything a player owns or character owns, they're one more thing the GM can steal, besiege, set fire to, etc.
Steal. I believe what Sir Kendric would say is that it's been legally acquired through knightly means.
It's been liberated.
Look, when I was like 19 years old and playing World of Darkness, anytime I wanted to sort of, give the players a fright or a fear for their lives or unlives, I'd always do something like, someone would blow up their car or their house at the time they went there. And people, I quickly got a reputation for it. Don't own anything in this game because James will just, burn it down, blow it up, or
Listen, they're just levers for the DM to, pull or,
I do want to say, James, just before this, I was acting as an NPC in a Vampire the Masquerade game. I walked out of a meeting with the prince, who was also the head of an Elysium, into the entranceway forum of his office, where someone was immediately saying, I don't think this prince is really a prince, and was shit-talking him, and I was like, listen, kid, it's insane that under Camarilla rules, you are outside the office of a prince telling him he's not the prince. He walks out, you're still talking shit about him at an Elysium where he's also the host. Are you stupid? He was like, it's okay. He's my friend. And I was like, not for much longer, buddy.
at least if it's listening, he won't kill him until he walks outside the building.
Yeah. We'll see how this ends. I think they're a player character, so they're going to be able to get away with it, which is the thing I hate most about Vampire the Masquerade games, is that player characters are given incredible leeway. Erika Ishii to repeatedly break the rules, and everyone's like, well, okay, I mean, they're a player character. If we just deleted them from the campaign, we would still have to contractually pay the actor. So well, Spoon, is it time for your reign of liberation to begin?
Maybe. One of the things I wanted to do is I had Sir Morlai training some of my armsmen.
Sure.
And I would like to see which one has progressed the furthest and then possibly knight them.
Okay. How do you envision that going down?
I don't know. I don't know if there's not really like a leadership skill or anything. Maybe battle, like a battle test or a courtesy test to see if I could pick out which one, and then to convince Lady Ellen to let me knight them.
So my question is what is important to you their skills as a warrior, or does any measure of chivalry and education mean anything?
Well, so I figure since they were already armorsmen, their skills with weapons are already decent. So what they're missing is the courtly skills of a knight.
Sounds to me like you need to make a courtesy rule to pick out the most courteous of knights.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's too bad this isn't an anime system, or you could just use the notice me senpai skill.
That is a critical.
Is that a critical? Okay, go ahead and check mark that for yourself.
Will do.
Do you have names for these armsmen?
I sure do. So
I want the one whose name is the funniest.
Gail Hoden, Duranwi, Aoife, Hugh, Maldwin, Oswin, let's see, Gwyneth. And I believe that's all of them. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, that's all of them.
You spend a few days observing the practice. All of your armsmen are at minimum level of capability in arms, of course, but one of them stands out not only as an expert swordsman, but also with the sort of genial traits that one would ask of a chivalric knight. Maldwin, while he may be an extremely angry person, still restrains his anger behind a cloud of forced civility to act in a manner befitting a nobleman and a gentleman. In fact, there are others who see when he has become angry and have termed it malding. How did you not see this one coming? Okay,
I did see it coming.
Okay. Wanted to make sure.
Okay.
A day's trip over to the castle to speak to the Countess Ellen. She confers upon you that if Maldwin does meet your capabilities as a knight, he has no reason to question your level of competence after your recent successes.
Very well. So I have your permission to knight him then.
Will you be having him perform the leap?
Yes, of course, it is tradition.
He's a bit old to be a knight, is he not?
He's only 29, my lady.
Only 29. Suppose this is the quality of knights that we now look for in these dark times. I hope that he will not be too offensed when he falls off his horse and the common folk laugh at him in the mud.
He's skilled at controlling his anger.
Excellent. Unless there's anything else, that conversation is... I don't know if you want to do any scenes or just otherwise have Sir Maldwin invested in which manner?
Right now I'm taking him on as a household knight.
As a household knight. Okay. You do, of course, have the money to pay for his arms, armor, horses, etc., etc.
Yes, I do.
Each of you, after this event, gets a request for a few heads of cattle to help reimburse the Countess for her great investiture in the defense of the realm, for the cattle, for the East Saxons, for those of Essex as it is. It means little mechanically right now, but your finances in this regard are stretched more thinly than normal. Anyone else have any late spring, early summer
Kyned is just going, slowly mad for a couple of weeks.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind. So what's her name again? Owain's wife,
Elaine.
Elaine. Yes, actually, I wanted to have a short scene with her if possible.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think she's still at Shrewton.
Yes,
So
she resides there.
Yeah. Cousin, have you a moment?
Of course. I expect things go well.
Definitely. Did you heard that the Countess invested the family with an additional estate?
I believe she invested you with that estate personally.
Well, that's what I wanted to quickly talk to you about. Obviously, the nights that I've invested in the estates that your family brought into this family have always been with a view that they are your heirs, men, when the time comes.
Yes.
And I would not have presumed to place myself in any demons. I'm here simply to caretake for your family. But with Winterbourne on Stoke now provided to me, when the time comes that your heir takes over the household, I would obviously still swear an oath to, well, her at this point in time, but I would seek to then move my family to Winterbourne on Stoke and remain a vassal knight of your household.
Of course. And as I promised you, not that there was a financial exchange, but a commitment of duty and honor that when such a time as a page becomes a knight, you would be rewarded with a manor from this house as well. So I think that your future is well provided for, Sir Gwgan, assuming that we all live long enough to see it.
By God's grace, I'm sure that we will face difficult times, but I remain confident in my faith that we'll see this through.
Might it not be wise of you to begin taking personal management of Winterbourne Stoke so that, as it is your own personal fief?
I had actually considered whether or not I would actually move Kyned there. I'd have to spend my time between there and here, but she could care for our children there, begin to make that a home for our family, which it will become eventually.
These decisions are yours to make.
Just one other thought, and this is just something that you might consider, but it's up to you. We'd heard stories that the Queen has taken up residence in the monastery at St Albans, probably with her ladies. I don't know if she plans to leave there after a time, but if you are seeking God's counsel and the chapel in Shrewton is not sufficient, you might consider a trip to St Albans to pray there, and maybe you might find yourself eventually in the good graces of the Queen. Whether or not that would help you, your family, or this family, is just something that you could consider.
There are many rumors coming from that abbey. I have nothing against the Queen, but some of the women that are headed there are more dangerous than those I would like to spend time with. I'm sure you're familiar with Sir Kyned's situation. It's my understanding that the ghosts of his past haunt that particular abbey.
I didn't know they found us in Orleans. That's interesting information.
The
I mean,
children
as you say, rumors,
were
but
brought
still.
back. Some of the children. Have you not spoken with him about it? He's adopted several children into his line.
It's funny, we don't speak so much of family, more duty, but it's something to think on, definitely. I feel that this year I have gained a new view on information. You know me, I've always been one who has been opposed to idle rumors and gossip mongering. But I feel in the way that the country is right now, perhaps sometimes whispered words carry important meaning.
I would say look to London. Sir Kendric has gone personally, has he not, to see the sword and the anvil and the stone. And yet, if I speak to anyone along the road, they'll tell me 3 different stories as to what's going on and where it's located.
Yes, whether it's a hammer or a sword, whether it's in front of the cathedral or some small church or some pagan idol. I've heard many stories. But I did speak with Kendric, and he did say that it was indeed a sword in an anvil and one he could not draw.
Well, perhaps it is fortunate for us all that I do not speak ill of him, but I would not wish kingship of England upon Sir Kendric. I doubt Logre's rulership would suit him well at this time.
I would be surprised if any man, or woman for that matter, who pulls that sword from the anvil would suddenly find themselves recognized as the liege by the many kings and lords of this isle, regardless of what the stone may say. Without a true sign from God, they're just another person looking to unite a disunited country.
Well, whether it was put there by the magician Merlin or by God, I'm sure that whosoever draws that sword will have aid from a source beyond our understanding.
Indeed, although it troubles me to think about the implications of that.
The distribution of government rule through ownership of swords? That sounds pretty normal, actually. It's how it's been done for centuries. Steel commanders, they rule the battlefield.
Well, we may find out in our lifetimes, we may not. For now, I will focus on serving my lord and this family. Anyway, you should join me for the dinner this evening. All of us, before I send my family to Winterbourne on Stoke. Right, that's all I needed.
I do want to mention, while Glimo is slightly distracted, that someone was bothering me about... I say bothering, that sounds so negative. Someone had mentioned that I did not update the description section on YouTube to indicate the new Kyned is the new player character. What is now, with this video, has been updated on the 24th episode.
Excellent.
So one of my friends watching the show just told me that, like, last week they watched the episode where you were pushed off the wall. So...
Good times.
So good. What a liability you became. That entire insane sequence where you like broke inside and the troubadours were like, what's the plan? And you're like, what's your plan? And they're like, leave. And you're like, wait, we should kill the fake king. And they're like, okay, how do you want to do that? And you're like, you come up with a plan. And they're like, we're bards, my lord. We don't kill kings regularly.
I didn't say I wanted to kill the king. I said I wanted to.
No, the fake king.
Incite a revolution.
Yeah. But the funniest part was that you met up with Uther because of your critical success, and the whole time Uther was just like, so, you loyal, bro? Oh, God. You sealed your fate so bad. If you had pushed him off first, what a different game this would be. It would have been so incredible.
You know, the words were on the tip of my tongue.
So I will actually write to Kyned and just mention that about the what's her name? The former wife of I've lost track of your character. Not Harad. Was it Harad's wife? Was it Harad's wife or no?
Yeah,
that was Harad's wife.
Harad's wife. Okay, so yeah, the Harad's wife has taken up residence in St. Albans, and that
Lady Harfin.
Yeah, there is the risk that she will. I mean, the matter with his family seemed done, but you can't guarantee that honeyed or poisoned word won't be whispered into the Queen's ear. It's very one of those it's one of those letters that ends off with like, you should do something about that, without saying what. You might want to consider taking action.
As per my previous email. No, wait, not that one.
Also, I believe, did Sir Kyned have a squire that also was knighted this year?
No.
Somebody did, other than me, I thought.
Who's your new squire?
My new squire is also of James's family, Wayne's family.
Yep, let me pull up my family tree again. Remind me of the name that you got.
It's like one of the cousins, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Family Echo.
My second cousin, once removed on my father's side.
It's funny because my Family Echo account actually has my personal family tree because I showed my kids what our family tree looks like because it's a complete mess. But it also has like a Wayne's family tree and all of my Pendragon players' family trees as well on Family Echo. So, all right. So,
some of those Pendragon player trees, a little bit more like a straight line, huh?
But yeah, every time I open up Family Echo, it always says, "Oh, this person's 1,545 years old," because it defaults to today's date. It was Terwyn, the girl Terwyn, Terrywyn.
Well, if no one else had,
and they're 15.
They're 15 this year. Yep.
If no one else had squires that were knighted, I put forward Hayden for a candidacy for the Order of the Axe, as we agreed.
Yeah, and I offered to pay for his investiture as well.
Does anyone have any reservations about Hayden joining our number?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Very well. Since Sir Gwent is not here, fancy a game?
Did you see the Power World video posted on the proper?
I'm sorry, James. I just don't care enough.
It had a Gwent reference in it too.
Oh, okay. Everyone tries to be like, Power World is breaking the law, and I'm like, okay, well, Can't wait for, someone to do something about that. It might just be that you're wrong, though. Oh, God, I have to resist just making Sir Hayden, the Anakin Skywalker, just be like, what do you mean? I'm part of the Order of the Axe. I should be recognized as a sword master. How do I want to play Hayden? What are the... Do we remember what Owain's special family trait is? Is it
yes.
the boating one?
It was...
I'm going to base their whole personality on your answer.
No, it wasn't boating. It was... I feel like it was courtesy or romance. Let me just go back to my notes. Because it doesn't show it on the sheet, unfortunately. Pendragon. God, my file structure's a mess.
I mean, he's been very capable. Like, he's fucking knocked it out of the park as a squire, for sure.
Well, look, the thing about being good at being an intern does not mean you're going to be a good employee. In the same way that being a good squire doesn't make you a good knight.
I'd say this is more like a practicum than it is an internship.
Putting someone's boots on doesn't make you a good sword fighter.
He's captured multiple people in battle.
Okay, but most of those people were half dead.
Sure. He also pulled the Earl up behind him and rode him to safety. Like, that was the thing that happened. Like, dude's been an all-star squire.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was +10 courtesy.
Okay. All right. Sir Hayden shows up to your meeting to invest him a little late. It's like, oh, hey, guys. I'm Hayden. Sorry I'm late. I was just bringing you all the latest drink. Warm leaf juice. It's all the rage in London.
See.
You boil water and then add crushed up dried leaves to it. Then you remove the leaves so they don't get in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's really popular in London. Here you go. Starts putting mugs of tea in front of all of you.
It was naturally lovable +10 flirting, sorry.
No, I like the way I'm going right now.
Okay, no.
I like the way I'm going right now with like strong intern energy.
Yeah.
Well, I've spoken to the rest of the Order, Hayden, and we've agreed to accept you as one of our number.
Sweet. I'm honored to be a member of the Order of the Axe. I have an axe out at my horse if you need me to get it, or I don't know if there's any.
No, that will not be necessary.
I don't need to like chop a bunch of wood to prove my axeliness.
No, your service.
The first time you defeat a Saxon axeman in combat, you should claim his axe to place above your hearth as the rest of us have.
Indeed.
Okay, got it. He pulls out a piece of parchment and then like sits it down at the table and begins like filling out your words of wisdom. He just marks it like Gwgan's words. 1. Acquire axe from living Saxon. Place it above hearth. It's like sweet. Okay, cool. It's really nice to have my own hearth, by the way. Thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. Fancy a game?
Of
sorcery. The card game.
Sorcery the Groupening?
Yes.
I don't know very well.
Well,
I only have this beginner's deck. It's so old it basically came out during the Ice Age.
And that's it.
All right, I play Sierra Angel with banding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you it's a white deck. I bet you it's a fucking white deck.
That was back when decks were monocolor. There used to be a time where you didn't need 3 colors to make a fucking deck.
Kendric, we should have some sort of initiation ritual for the order. Something
Yeah,
to think on.
consider it. See if we can come up with something.
Perhaps a bear hunt.
Well, and I believe Hayden and several of our other squires hunted a bear already this winter, in Ember, no less.
I heard it was a beautiful day.
Well, they certainly had quite an adventure, from what I've heard.
We definitely didn't slack off when we came back. That's for sure. We came back most hastily, as attendant to our duties.
All right, well, let us all offer you welcome. We do like the Van Brace to Bran Brace grasp and a single pat on the back.
Of course. As you do it, a ghostly image of Carl Weathers appears in the background with his arms crossed, nodding. Right. Sorry, I don't want to make this too awkward. You know, I'm still getting used to being a knight, so being accepted at such a prestigious organization just, you know, just getting used to it.
I'm sure you will earn your place.
Right. We're nobles. We need to earn our place, of course. Wink again.
And then I don't think I have anything else until the fall, when I'm gonna go raid Silchester. Oh no, I guess wait. I'm sorry. That's the beginning of summer. Sorry.
Are you raiding Silchester at the beginning of summer?
Yeah, whenever the Earl's progress comes around.
Okay.
Where did we get to? Because we were talking about building like a guild hall for the order. Was that did we make a call on that in the end?
I had planned to do it this winter.
That was before we had to cough up a large sum of money to.
Yeah. Depending on how the harvest goes, I could technically still do it.
What does a hall cost again?
I think it's 25. Hang on, I have it open.
Temple Hall is 13 plus 2. And a stone hall is 26.
Yeah, and then a large hall is 24 plus 5.
Right.
Well, I'm happy to throw 10 into it if you like.
Okay.
So I'll mark it off now. So
I will mark it down.
Well, talk to me about your plans for a raid.
Well, take several of my knights and go across the border and raid the neighboring villages of Silchester. I think specifically one of the things that Kendric would be looking for is horses.
All right, let me get my map. how many manors would you like to attempt to raid?
Let's see. We'll do 3.
Okay. So, like, everything from the Shoot Forest to the Collingborn Wood. All right. Let me get my raid schedule here. That actually sounds too World of Warcraft. All right. All right, so Hayden's ready to earn GDKP and convert it into manors for himself.
Need to throw more dots.
Would you would you like to ride openly or
is there, well, so what does the Earl's, like, does anyone from the Earl's Progress come around?
from your Earl's Progress?
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Are they riding openly?
Yes, they are riding openly through Salisbury's lands.
Sure. But at the start of the summer, they come to Duplain to raid Silchester.
They are not intending to raid Silchester this year.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I believe the progress right now is a simple combination of Sir Allnart, Sir Wayland, and Sir Kerwin, and they have no intentions of doing any raiding this particular year, given that both of the men involved in the normal raiding are dead.
Sure.
That said, it is tradition. You could try to convince them to come with you.
No, I'll leave them to their duties, but I will still go raiding.
A Viking, really?
Sure.
Or a Viking.
Are there mechanics for going openly or
I'm
hidden?
just curious as to whether you're raising flags that say, hey, I'm Kendric, or if you're riding around with no house sigilling and your face is covered sort of deal.
Yeah, given that I've been a knight on the eastern border for 10 years now, 10 plus years, what's been done in the past?
So, I mean, going with just knights is basically insane. You're definitely going to get murdered if you do that.
By who?
By the peasantry. I mean, 3 people. I mean, look, you can probably kill a lot of people. At some point, you're going to get tired, and then you're going to get knifed. And I mean, look, you want to raid somebody, that's great. You ride in, you chase people off, you break into somebody's house, and how are you going to round the cattle up? How are you going to get sacks of grain? I mean, 3 people bringing back...
It's not 3 people. I have 7 knights with me.
Okay. 7 knights is,
so I basically have like 15 guys.
Yeah, okay. Look, 15 guys is a lot of guys. Is it going to, bring back enough to feed hundreds of people? Probably not.
No, but I'm not looking to feed hundreds of people. I'm looking to steal things.
You asked me how it's done in the past. How it's done in the past is a knight forms a group and will bring men-at-arms, hunters, and a bunch of commoners to gather up the cattle and to help herd and deal with all of the people in the local area, while the knights smash and grab the expensive stuff from the manors or loot churches and that kind of such.
Yeah, so I don't want the gathering of the cattle and smashing open grain bins and stealing food.
Okay,
like I'm looking for the part that the knights do.
Okay.
And really what I was asking is, how has it been done in the past? Is do they ride openly or do they not?
I think in the past they have rode openly under the banners of Salisbury, specifically with the Earl's colors.
Okay.
Are you continuing that tradition?
I'm trying to remember back to that conversation I had with Lady Ellen about doing this. And I think she was very neutral as to whether or not it was something that she wanted to do.
A countess's heart with neutrality. Is it a lust for gold?
No, but we need the money. Are there any immediate penalties for writing? Like, am I going to take an honor hit or anything like that?
This is not dishonorable. I mean, it is definitely going to piss off the locals, and it's also going to be an affront to Duke Ulfius, but...
Yeah, but it's not anything that hasn't happened to him before.
Correct.
It's just we're in different circumstances now.
I agree with all of that. There's no... I mean, raiding is not dishonorable. It is selfish as hell, but...
Could I test prudent versus reckless?
I'll have you test reckless first.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
It's a failure on reckless.
Okay, go ahead.
And another failure on prudent.
You get to choose.
I will ride openly.
I would like to ask what's your selfish score?
My selfish score is a 7.
And then what is your loyalty lord?
My loyalty lord is a 15.
Do you have any thoughts of tributing any part of this to your lord?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Then you can roll loyalty lord, although that comes with all the risks of rolling a passion. Or you can roll selfish to see how well you do in these trials and tribulations you find yourself at. It should be noted that no matter what you do, because you aren't stealing horses and grain, it's all going to be one step lower than what you would normally get.
Sure. Okay. I will do loyalty lord.
I do have one additional question.
Yes.
How do you feel about taking money from churches, Christian churches?
I don't think
Look at him smile when I ask that question.
So here's the thing.
Yeah?
I don't know that he would.
Okay.
Because he knows Gwgan would disapprove.
Probably several of your knights, including Hayden, who was one of Gwgan's clansmen.
Sure. I've stolen from churches before.
Christian churches?
Yeah, well, I was impassioned. I was maddened at the time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a little different, but okay.
And I don't think Kendric knows that. So yeah, we'll go with loyalty lord.
Okay. Just so you know, this is a hard roll. Because
that's a success.
You're holding yourself back a lot. Okay. It is a success. I would like you to roll again. Someone really got this for me in the YouTube comment section. They were like, when Arthur's looking something up, he really just slows down while talking and extends words out. And I was like, damn, they fucking got me, man. I would like you to...
You don't say and a lot, which is how most humans deal with that problem.
Okay, well, or can I get you to roll 1d6?
Sure. A 1.
You raid 3 different villages. That was stupid on purpose. You raid Kempton, Tidworth, and Biddisden in Shoot Forest. You pull together about £1 worth of jewelry and gold, it's really not a lot. Most of your attendant knights are just like, I think it cost us more to perform this raid than we got out of it, Sir Kendric. Hayden is just like, we really should have gone for, the whole shebang. Might I suggest, my lord, what if we were to raid Levkamegas?
Is Levkamegas not a walled city?
It is. I think.
How do you propose we besiege it then?
I don't say we besiege it. We approach as friends. We take what we need and we get out quick, fast. Hopefully with no one noticing. Surely the 7 of us can be wise, clever.
And
I think you need
there's
11 for
there's more than 7 of us. There's 7 knights.
7
and
knights.
There's squires and my 7 other armsmen.
All right. I heard 7 before. I apologize. There's a lot of us. We could get a lot of loot. I'm just saying, £1 is not a lot to come back on.
Well, I'm a little confused as to how we only ended up with £1 of jewelry, but I suppose
we really held a hand behind our back. We didn't come back with any, cattle or grain or any of the usual stuff. We didn't raid the churches.
Do you normally raid churches?
I don't raid churches personally, but I've heard that churches get raided.
I see.
I would be disapproving of such actions, just to be clear. I'm advising you that the standard is to raid churches.
I don't raid churches. I just raid in a direction. And if someone built a church in that direction, well, what am I supposed to do?
So you propose that the 7 of us are squires and my 7 armsmen raid the walled city of Levkamegas.
I say we approach Levkamegas in peace with our arms wide open, and God willing, we may find something in there to remove a value.
Mm-hmm.
We can run faster than the news of our passing and leave before it comes.
I don't believe that would be a good idea.
All right, I agree with you to some extent, but I just, we could have come back with more.
I agree.
The only good news is that Duke Ulfius probably won't miss £1.
Yes, I imagine they won't miss anything at all because apparently times have been hard out here for everyone.
Well, all of the noblemen are dead, so
yeah.
You know what? All right, Spoon. I'll tell you what. I'll let you roll 1d6 for each manor. So I'll let you roll another 2d6, and if you roll more ones, it's going to be nothing but endless mockery, you understand? Endless mockery. Audience, for those of you that are listening and not watching, the second roll was also a 1. This is real. This is Blood Bowl behavior. You understand that, right? This is Blood Bowl behavior that I'm looking at here.
Here we go.
You really nuffled it. Incredible.
Oh my
It's
God.
a third one. It's a third one. All right.
Arthur has the power over the dice.
I engaged my Roll20 cheat engine. Yeah, so you raid 2 more manors, and at the end of it, Hayden is just shaking his head. You've got like 1 pearl bead necklace and like a few Spanish gold coins, Hispaniolan gold coins going through your hands.
I wonder if like the seal chestnuts where I was going, so they left out all like their pewter, and it was like, oh, we found all this silverware, but no, it's actually just tin.
Oh my God.
Great. How much of that would you like to tribute to the Countess Ellen?
A third.
Okay. I can't wait to see how you split 2 pounds between 15 plus people.
Listen, hang on 1 second. Let me get into my notes.
Everyone gets a couple denaries.
I was gonna say everyone gets specifically 30 denarii because that's what it takes to get to London.
Yeah. And London.
Wow, you're really bringing that back. This man is malding.
Yeah. 30 denarii plus lunch.
Of course, lunch isn't included in travel fare.
No, it's not part of your per diem.
I love the idea. I love the idea that the concept of per diem is traced back in England all the way back to one axe-wielding maniac.
It was a team building exercise. Next year we'll do better.
Okay. I'd like you to roll to gaslight.
Let me just roll orate.
I would like you to roll orate, actually.
Can I be impassioned by loyalty, Lord?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Failure. Unless I can also add my suspicious of Silchester.
No, I don't think you can do that. Okay. All right. I don't think this affects you very badly because it's only a 15, right?
Yeah.
What are the penalties?
For failing the check?
Yeah.
Nothing.
For impassioning?
Yeah, nothing at 15.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think AP thought you were rolling to impassion again.
Oh, no, I was already I thought I was already impassioned by passing the loyalty Lord check.
Okay.
Either way, it's still a failure.
Tell me what speech you give to orate.
I think I say something along the lines of perhaps we should give Silchester a few years to recover from the loss of their noblemen and all of their riches, apparently. Perhaps we'll ride through this area.
There's a ripping noise as one of your horses just starts farting and shitting himself, and then it happens again with another horse, and someone's like trying to control their mount, and they're like, "I'm sorry, my lord, they ate some of the local oats. I don't know what's happening." Just Hayden's horse immediately just begins projectile shitting on the back of the horse, and just log ripping farts everywhere as in the middle of your speech, all of the horses begin violently farting and shitting themselves.
You remember when AP's games had lines he wouldn't cross?
Yeah.
Listen, this motherfucker just failed a roll, and I need some way to indicate that Spoon has done a bad job, all right? I've been inspired by Brennan Lee Mulligan and The Crown of Candy. That's all I could say. Look, the good news is, James, is that your kids weren't in the room when I started talking about horses projectile shit. What a great place to take our first break. How about that? I think that the the BRB screen is just a bunch of really tired, soiled armsmen leading a group of horses back. Everybody just looks super dejected, and only one horse has any loot of value. It's just Kendric's horse has a big sack, and you can see the top of it just has a bunch of pearls hanging out, and that's it. That's the whole sum of the loot. It's one bag. Hey, times are hard everywhere, friends. We'll be back for the middle part in about 5 minutes. Don't shit around. Hey, we've returned, friends, and it's time for Kyned and Gwgan to get a message. While Kendric is away for a few days at the beginning of summer, the two of you receive a message from another member of the Order of the Axe, Gwent. He has received information from the south that there is something coming. Messengers from Hampshire that are worried a new fleet of Saxons has been seen massing south of the Isle of Wight, and they are worried that Hampshire, Portchester will all be raided, and that would leave Salisbury exposed. Hampshire calls for aid. Gwent, of course, cannot leave his post at Sir Amig's castle at Tillshead, but
The beacons are lit.
the beacons are lit.
So that, I mean, technically Hampshire is not part of Salisbury, so we'd be leaving our own lands to go
Right,
there.
that's what I said.
So,
That Hampshire is calling for aid from, because Salisbury's next.
Yeah. So do we need to get permission from the Countess to take a force down there?
Do you think that you have enough time to do that? I mean, you would need permission from the Countess to do such a thing, yes.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do it formally.
Or if they're massing at the Isle of Wight, it's going to take them a little bit of time to move those forces onto the mainland.
Now, just to be clear, the message doesn't say that they're massing at the Isle of Wight. It's that the fleet was spotted south of the Isle of Wight.
Okay. So I think then that look, I just probably, if we're going to send a note to Harad, I may as well be sending a note to Kyned. I may as well be sending a note to the Countess too. So I think what I will do is I will take forces and go south, but I will send a note to Kyned. I'll send a note to Kendric's house too, just in case he's returned, and I'll send a note to the Countess to say that we received this call for aid. In the interest of time, we've gone to their aid. But this is where this is my forwarding address. This is where to reach me if you want to call me back, basically. But for lack of communication, I'm assuming it's okay to try and head this off.
Do you send a message to Hayden?
Yeah, he's a member of the Order of Axe, so definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I mean, he's going to get it at Kendrick's house, but I'm just curious as to whether you treat him as a full member or not.
Yeah, that's right.
To see whether he needs to mauled about being a full member of this council.
No. He needs to come and collect his axe, which is currently in Hampshire.
Ah, yes. Kyned, when you get the letter, what do? And you get your letter before Gwgan's letter arrives. You get the news from Gwent directly.
I think that, Kyned's thought process on this is, well, isn't this what we just paid a very large ransom to keep from happening? So I think he would ride for Sarum, and say, hey, tell the Countess, hey, this is what's happening. I think we need to call our friends that we're paying ransom on. Because otherwise, where'd all our money go? Money and cattle.
I want to imagine an animated Civil War map that shows not only everyone's current location and where they're headed, but where the messages intended for them are. That, like, we see Kyned's icon riding to Sarum, and it's being matched by Gwgan's message to the Countess, but also there's Gwgan's message to Kyned, which passes Kyned on the road, makes it to his manor, and begins heading to Sarum.
They tip their hat as they cross each other on the road,
Kendric and Hayden's icons are just like in the northeast, just like going very slowly back towards his estate.
Yeah, so I think that Kyned will get the rest of his family to rally to defend Laverstock should the worst happen, but he is going to go to Sarum to reinforce Sarum Castle if needed.
Great. I would like you to roll a battle roll, Kyned, to begin actively rallying massed forces. Okay.
That's a success.
You can check mark battle here.
Thank you.
Your knights, your attendant houses, your armsmen, your levies all begin assembling themselves with haste, but judiciously. There's no question that while some rallies do not work out very well, this is a well put together machine that when you come back from Sarum will be ready to move. Supplies will be a bit sparse. You'll need to establish logistics, but the army will be ready to walk. Although calling it an army is a bit pretentious. So the first major event that happens is Kyned arriving at Sarum. You can tell that news has reached the castle, but not the general public. There's peace in the streets. People aren't starting to fret about and get worried about Hampshire being raided. But as soon as you go through the castle gates, you can see that people here are beginning to set supplies aside, put them into storehouses built underneath the castle. They're preparing to lock the castle down. Knights are beginning training in earnest. It's less like, haha, we're going to chop swords at each other, and more like, okay, we could be killing someone in the next week. So it's time to get serious about this. The Countess receives you, although as she does, you can hear that someone behind you is like, I have a message for Sir Kyned from Sir Gwgan.
I'll take that message.
All right. You get Gwgan's message before you see the Countess, which is to inform you of what's already happening.
Mm-hmm. And that
just say I'm going down there. Taking.
Okay. So I will go into the Countess and say, Lady, I see that you have already heard the news that came to me of Saxons coordinating upon Hampshire.
She is in the main hall above the salt with the typical, very poorly drawn map down on the table and little wooden tokens representing groups of knights being moved around, getting news from people where they believe all the knights currently are and how quickly they can be called back to Sarum in case this explodes. The Countess says, "It is good that you have come. I have just received word that Sir Gwgan is riding further south into Hampshire."
I received the same message, so... What are your orders, milady?
I do not know how big of a force Sir Gwgan is taking with him, but I believe that Sir Kendric is far out to the east. It was the last reported contact with him was with the Progress Knights. I do not believe he will be returning anytime soon. It could be days or even weeks. Who knows what he's doing out there? I think we're going to need you to back up Sir Gwgan in force as quickly as possible. Can you muster your men?
I can. I started the muster before I left in case they were needed for defense of Laverstock. I'd also recommend that we would want to speak to our friends from the east because, well, what did we pay them all that money for should this come to pass?
We don't know who it is, but I will send word to the King of Essex to ask for aid.
I shall rally my household and meet up with Gwgan, and I will bring a number of pages for running fast messages as soon as we have intelligence.
Sir Kyned, it is most important that you and Sir Gwgan and all of your men return intact with information rather than get embroiled in conflict in Hampshire. I do not believe either of you have enough knights to truly turn the tide of a true invasion force.
So just quickly, if I just say what my plan was, I would have put it in my letter because that might then inform this. So my plan was I was only taking 4 knights and our squires and a half dozen lineage men. If it's actually like, multiple forces in ships and they're raiding as an army, all I'm going to do is turn around and come back and say there's an army coming.
Right.
Like if I reach Hampshire before they've attacked,
right.
then I will help the local forces there prepare to defend. And I'm only fighting if like Saxon raiding groups start like coming in, where it's like 20 odd men. Okay, we'll go and take those men on. But if it's actually a marching army, I haven't raised my levies. I've literally just brought some knights down to turn small skirmishes our way.
Look, Countess Ellen is just covering all her bases so that nobody goes on a suicide mission for glory.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. She's putting the leash on. We don't want a real Kendric situation here.
I know we could get some vast wealth if we did that.
All 3 pounds, which is really 2 pounds to be distributed among 24 men. In the form
most of it.
30
of a trip to London.
By the way, we heard James's story during the break, and there's a reason we didn't share it any further.
Okay. Kyned will pick up Mifi and Fifon, leaving Braith and Krieg in charge of Laverstock, and the 3 of us will try to rendezvous with Gwgan.
Are you bringing the armsmen and your levies with you?
No, we're gonna leave the armsmen and levies in Laverstock.
All right. So we cut to 2 farmers with one has a pitchfork and the other has a scythe. It's early summer, of course, prime planting time. Really want that solid growth there. They're both wearing big sun hats with the very brief good weather of southern Britain, watching you and 2 knights right away. And one turns to the other and says, "Well, Leroy, it's like they always say, hurry up and wait." And the other one goes, "You're right, Jenkins. They've raised the levies, and now we can't do our job with the harvest. But it's a good thing." And he says, he pats my scythe. "There's still chickens to take care of, because I could use a chicken sandwich." And then the screen goes black, and we hear like a noise before we hear a really bad like radio scythe noise, like shh.
One of them should have said, "Let's do this."
Perfect. Raising your levies in the middle of planting. Gwgan,
Yes.
as you ride south, you find that there are refugees going past you, people who are pleased to see Knights of Salisbury riding, and they like grab at your horse and say, "Oh, a Knight of Salisbury, please, we don't know what's behind us. We're fleeing. The Saxons, they're already in Hampshire. They've landed in Portchester, and they're taking all of the coastline."
So have you fled from an attack, or you fled preceding an attack?
"We're fleeing in front of the attack. The Knights of Hampshire have been destroyed. The enemy king has taken the city of Hantone."
How many men, do you know?
"I'm sorry, it was dark, and there was so much fire."
Were there horses? Were they mounted?
"Yes. They, honestly, some of them hardly seemed Saxonish. They almost look like men of Britain.
Maybe I look at my other knights and say like maybe continental mercenaries.
One of them raises an eyebrow. He does the rock.
Yeah, I'll separate one of my the knights that I bought to escort the refugees back and to basically like make sure their story gets to whoever needs to hear it.
I mean, within a few minutes of continuing to ride south, you keep adding more and more people to that group, but you have assigned them an escort and a guardian to prevent any passing bandits from taking advantage of these people, which is very chivalrous of you. You're continuing onward then?
Yes. But we are riding with a view to gather intel. We're not looking to ride straight into the more battle if necessary.
Okay. Are you riding to Henton or Portchester?
So they said that they landed at Portchester and
yes.
they took the city of Henton.
Yes. Very fast campaign.
Yeah. I mean, Henton is also like, we're not coastal. Well, it is coastal.
It is coastal. Yeah.
It's accessed by an inlet as such. And it looks like, and Henton is closest to Sarum.
Yep.
So I think that's probably the first place I'd be going.
Okay.
To see what we face there.
The next day, you and your men are riding forward, and a man riding upon a horse in armor has a lance with a white flag tied to it. As a messenger approaches you and says, "Hail, knights! You are men of Britain.
Yes, sir.
I am a messenger of the king. I wish to speak to the Knights of Salisbury."
We are Knights of Salisbury. Which king do you serve?
We serve the true king of England.
Gonna need a name.
King Cerdric. Cerdic. There's not a second R in there.
Yes. I wasn't aware that Collegiate had appointed a new High King.
Some titles are inherited from one's father. I am a messenger. I am not here to bandy about such messages on behalf of my king. You may speak with him yourself. He offers you passage.
Then we'll accept your hospitality.
Yes, safe conduct then.
Yes.
We have your bonded word as well?
Yes. None of my men will draw their weapons until in this conduct, unless we are turned on, unless we are betrayed.
Very well. As you continue traveling south through the day with this man, he meets with more men, some of whom are knights, some of whom are men-at-arms, but many of them seem hardly Saxonish at all. They seem sort of English, actually. And they all speak common language quite well, as they have conversations away from you in hushed tones before enticing you to continue further south to Henton. Make a intrigue roll.
What's funny is that I had some plans regarding intrigue this year, but I think that'll have to happen after this.
Well.
Right now. No, that's a critical failure.
You have sharply considered, perhaps, your position as a man of God and gossip, and while you have been tempted in this, with everyone looking at you, with your mission on the line, you simply cannot stomach it, consciously or unconsciously, to listen in on others' conversations and to gossip. You are here to present an image of the best possible Salisburian British knight, and gossip is not the way.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is that I have sworn to take part in no aggression, and to me, eavesdropping is an aggressive act.
You see many banners that would indicate some measure of nobility and perhaps even royalty, but you do not recognize any of them as you make your way forward.
Right.
I am curious. Did Gwgan go through the same Salisbury family history? Well, you have the same grandfather as Owain?
Grandfather, yes.
Okay. Do you have your entry for year 463 available?
I do.
Was your grandfather at the Night of Long Knives, and or were they murdered there?
They were not. No.
Okay. Okay. Well, no big deal then. No reason I asked for that. You find yourself meeting with King.
That year they were on the continent of the Battle of Calais.
That's it's a good time to be away.
Yeah.
You are introduced as going to the lands of a Saxon lord, and you are welcomed into the Great Hall. The land is not rated, even though this place has been taken by these supposedly Saxony British. The people here are being treated well for raiders, and this appears to be a sort of permanent occupation. This is not some like summertime raid. These guys are moving in for real with heavy force. More than just infantry, more than just men in boats. This is cavalry and ships filled with supplies. These are not tribesmen or primitive raiders. This is people who know how to live in castles moving in. King Cerdic welcomes you at a feast. And it looks like the local people have already adjusted to life under his rule. The servants here are supposedly locals of Hantone who willingly serve him with no question at all. There appears to be no rebellion, no attempt to poison him, no rabble. Cerdic stands as the second the dinner is over and says, I welcome you all, everyone. I have hope that we can be friends and peaceful neighbors with Salisbury, for that is the way among Bretons. Yes, fellow Bretons, for I am one of you more than I am a Saxon, measured in a civilized way where all things of importance come from my father's side, because my father was British. Nobility, such as you and I, Sir Gwgan, we are superior to normal human. I could not come from more noble stock, for my father was High King of Britain, and I have come to claim his title. Indeed, the noble Lord High King Vortigern was my father, and he ruled this island before being usurped by the Pendragons, thieves and rapists that they were. And indeed, though it counts less, my mother's father was also a king. I have many powerful connections among the Saxons. You may think them savages. And in my future kingdom, you will find that not to be so, for they are subjects, just as the British shall be. And one day both shall be equal, Anglos and Saxons, in a sort of Anglo-Saxon combination here in Western South Essex. Western Sussex, really. Let's just call it Wessex. So, Sir Gwgan, on behalf of Salisbury, I invite you to join me in my army, for surely there will be battles in the future. And I am sure you and your hosts would wish to be on the winning side. I will be happy to accept your homage, loyalty, and also that of your countess. And I would treat all who join my banner well and justly. Join me.
Your Majesty, first off, let me thank you for your hospitality and the way in which you have comported me and my men to this court. You have certainly come to Britain at a difficult time here. Not only have we faced, as you say, the Saxons from many angles, but Britain itself is without hiking, has been for some time, but Logris particularly having lost, as you say, the Pendragons. It is politically, militarily in flux. And so I personally welcome the certainty that a king brings if that king is accepted by the people and by the collegiate of Britain. That which God has ordained will appoint kings in his stead. I have no quarrel with you or your men. It seems that you have returned to these lands not as conquerors, but as men who will be Britons. I have sworn an oath to Earl Robert, and in his stead to his mother. And so my loyalty is tied to hers. And I cannot speak on her behalf. I need to meet with her, advise her. But I, too, would not want to see war between Salisbury and your forces. These people here, the peasants of Hampshire, have accepted you. Perhaps all Britons will one day. But it is not my decision to make that. It's not to me to make that decision. I have to advise those that I've sworn allegiance to, and they will have to make their peace with God when the time comes.
Puts his hand over his cup and says, "You say that should the people and the college accept me, you will also accept me as your king."
Indeed.
Why should we care what the people say? We are nobles, chosen by the Christian God to rule over them because we are better than them. Do you not agree? Where do you think your nobility comes from?
You are quite correct that God has graced my family with nobility. And I serve God first above all.
Wise decision.
I serve the lady and the Lord to which I've given my oaths, and I serve Britain, the nation which, under God, has given me a family, a home, and said title.
Excellent. I am Britain.
As I said,
understand. Bantering these small words will not change the mind of one such as you. You are set in your loyalty, which is a good thing. All I can say, Sir Gwgan, is that the Council of Legates will eventually, one way or another, be made to accept my claim as High King. Whether it is this series of legates or whether they need to be coerced.
Well,
Stay the night.
That
tomorrow, ride home and spread my message of peace and gospel to your countess. All should accept the new High King in the land.
Thank you. I accept and appreciate your hospitality.
He turns, he snaps, and he says, "Certic out." As he leaves, a young man stands up from the table who looks a lot like him and does a double snap and says, "Cynric, Prince of Britain, out as well." A bunch of very baffled-looking Hantonese subjects and your knights are now left alone in the feast hall with a lot of food and a lot of drink.
All right. Can I, if I'm staying the night, can I send a messenger back, literally just to sort of make sure if any sort of forces are rallying to try and attack here, to send word that this is not an invasion force right now. This is that right now I'm meeting with them under the banner of peace, and so don't start shit. Basically, don't fuck around and find out.
We catch a montage of you riding south, you running into Gwgan's knights, you running into the one knight he sent with the refugees, you running into various fleeing messengers, and eventually you run into this new messenger sent from Gwgan specifically for anyone mustering forces arrives to meet with you and the two knights you have brought with you. And that's the message straight from his own mouth, Sir Kyned.
Very well. Let us. I appreciate it, and you may either return to your master, or at this point we will turn around and ride back to Sarum, and you're welcome to accompany us.
I think I should go back there. First off, it's, warm in the castle, and I heard they make a good breakfast, so I'm gonna, it's dark, but I'm gonna make my way back there. All right, so you're U-turning and going back to Sarum then?
Yes.
Okay. Good day to you. Good evening to you. Really good night to you.
Good night.
He just rides back awkwardly to the feast hall in Hantown. Miffy is just looking at you like, we've come all this way and we're just gonna ride hard and turn around, huh? She didn't say anything, though. Just a raised eyebrow. A significant NPC glance, really. Not a phrase I get to use often.
I feel that the Countess needs this information as soon as possible, so let us bring this to her.
Make an intrigue roll, Kyned.
Crit.
Really? How's Kyned's grandfather doing in the year?
Oh, he was at the Night of Long Knives.
Yeah. I mean, look,
I was
you're
looking
aware.
that up while
You know who this guy is. You know that the Goesi is the tribe he belongs to, and that they are generally considered like bad dudes. They are called evil men, which is not something ascribed to a lot of people. They don't say like they're bandits or they're raiders. They say these are evil men. And they left, a couple of decades ago and haven't really been seen since then. Now you're learning that they've been living among the Saxons, reproducing, creating an entirely new generation of knights to come back and somewhat peacefully take over most of Hampshire very quickly with Saxon allies. How do you feel? No, by the way, you can go ahead and check mark intrigue. How do you feel knowing this guy, his father personally killed your father? Your grandfather.
Yeah, Kyned is none too pleased to hear this. I don't know that he didn't ever know Dewani, but had certainly heard stories, so yeah, he's not pleased to hear this development, and feels that he needs to get this information to the Countess as soon as possible so that she can make Informed decisions, shall we say.
You begin riding back. The next morning, as Gwgan is preparing to head out, and as Kyned wakes up from a morning or an evening of hard riding, Sir Kendric, you arrive back at your estates with a bunch of tired, shit-covered men and like 14 messengers. You also have a personal message from King Cerdic of the Gwesi, who has just retaken his birthright of Hantone, is claiming to be the High King of Britain, and would like to speak to you if you will come to him under banner of truce with the matter of the magician. It is well known your hatred of the wizard Merlin. Merlin killed his father using wicked magic to summon a magical storm as far away as Saxony. And he would like your help in finding and eliminating the wizard, who he has heard is in London. And he calls you to service as your High King.
Interesting.
So, and if you want to make any rolls about this, I will remind you, your hatred Merlin will apply against you acting in the benefits of Salisbury.
Sure. Okay.
So Spoon's losing it right now. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
The High King, the son of the evil, super evil guy.
So here's the
also
thing.
on the same page about Merlin.
Here's the thing. My grandfather was not at the Night of Long Knives.
What a positive bonus.
Yeah. Okay, so the message was
he wants to summon you to Hantone to speak with you as your High King, but he's still offering you, whether or not you consider him the High King, he's offering you, safe conduct and passage. And he would like to summon you to his service to find the wizard Merlin and kill him. Okay. So that we can eliminate this evil magic user from all time.
Yeah. Okay. Can I test maybe like vengeful?
Yes,
to see
absolutely, please.
At a +9 for my hatred of Merlin.
Sure.
Well, that's interesting.
How vengeful is your vengefulness?
My vengefulness is pretty vengeful. I cannot fail that with the modifier. I cannot fail it.
You're feeling pretty vengy. Go ahead and check mark vengeful.
So I dismiss my other knights to their duties.
Oh, they have plenty of duty to clean up.
I send.
There we go.
I send Sir Malden to Sarum with the Countess's cut.
So angry about this, but he does it anyway.
And then I take Sir Hayden with me south to go meet this dude.
Okay. All right.
I just love the fact you're like, give this to the Countess, that's her cut.
Yeah, that's just a bag with 1 pound. It's literally a single pound of silver. And he's like, you sure you want to send a knight to deliver this? You meet Sir Kyned on the way south.
Okay.
With Mifi and Fawn. I don't know if you all want to say anything, or if in our Civil War messenger diagram, the two of you just tip hats at each other as you're going past.
Kendric.
Sir Kyned.
I'm not sure how much you know about the situation, but apparently the Gwasi have returned and their leader has appointed himself High King of Britain.
That's King Cerdic.
Yes. Gwgan is meeting with them now. He sent messages back, and I'm delivering them to the Countess.
Very well. What are your thoughts on the man? Did you meet him?
Did not meet him, but he did my family ill in the past, and I have no love for the Goesi.
Well, I shall ride south and meet with Sir Gwgan and discuss matters further there. He wants to talk to me about Merlin. Apparently, Merlin murdered his father.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
We shall see what he says.
How was your hunting expedition along the border?
Not good. It wasn't bad. We just didn't find much.
Already raided out. But...
Yeah, we'll have to bring. Well, I'll need more men next time.
Well, good hunting, and I hope to see you back at Sarum in a day or so.
Indeed.
Okay. You continue riding. When you meet up with Gwgan.
Sir Gwgan. Are we in Hantone or on the way?
I assume that he has left Hantone and
Coming back here.
yeah, you meet him part of the way.
Okay.
Kendric, it's been an interesting few days. Are you well? How did your raiding go?
We didn't find much. Seems that Silchester is just as poor as everywhere else.
Sorry to hear that. You've heard what's happened here about
Yes.
King Cedric?
Yeah. I ran into Kyned on the way.
He's not with you?
No, he was headed back to Sarum to speak to the Countess. Apparently this King Kendric is Goesi, the men of
Indeed.
Vortigern.
Yes, well, it's the son of Vortigern, in fact.
Oh.
He claims birthright to the throne of Britain through his father.
I see.
It is an interesting conundrum he presents, one I need to speak at length with the Countess. Were you coming to assist, or did you have other business in New Hampshire?
He sent me a message personally regarding Merlin. He has
Interesting.
no love for the magician. So we will see what happens.
I would like to join you, but I feel that I have important business with the Countess, and I have sworn to take the king's word back. So
Yes.
I feel that I should return to Sarum. But
I'm not sure how I feel about this High King business, but I feel as though I should hear him out about Merlin, given all the things that he has done. But I trust you will advise the Countess well.
of course, stay safe, my brother. Band brace the brain brace clamp. Second time in an episode.
Oral weather appears in the background again.
And I continue on to Hantone.
Great. The next thing that happens is Kyned arrives back at Sarum. Now panic is setting in at the city. Refugees have arrived, escorted by Gwgan's knight. Questions as to who these people are. Knowledge that they are the Goesi has not reached anyone in or out of the castle, but the idea that a large raiding force has arrived and is being treated well is alarming, to say the least. And you are shuffled in to see the Countess post haste.
Lady, I bring intelligence from the front.
She nods and gestures towards the poorly made map.
So, Gwgan is meeting with them now. It is the Goesi with Ortigan's son, King Serdek, who is claiming himself to be the High King of Britain.
Several people openly spit or make the sign of the evil eye when you say that.
According to Gwgan's note, he met with them last night. They have taken, and I list off all of the the towns that Gwgan had listed here. It appears that they came in with shock and awe, and now are just setting up shop. And he's plans to make himself king of all Britain again. I expect that Gwgan will be along shortly with more intelligence, but this is what his messenger was able to relay to me upon the road, and I felt that you needed information as soon as possible to make decisions.
There's a lot of talk going on in the background, people loosely speaking out of turn, saying things like, like Vortigern ordered my father killed, or my grandfather was at the Night of Long Knives. Someone says, he invited the Saxons here, the coward, and now we bear the price of his crimes. And somebody else is just like, the problem with Vortigern, all the incest. just not a good plan. Not a good plan. Someone else goes, that's right. And you know what else he did? He loved banging pagan women. The Countess, however, is above all of these accusations and says, if the son of Vortigern has returned, this is a serious problem. I have already sent word to our allies in Essex, and I expect representatives will arrive soon to settle this matter diplomatically. However, it would not be a bad idea for us to assemble forces to prepare to block any southern march into our territory. Can I rely on you, Sir Kyned, who have already prepared your forces to march, to go south to the castle of Sir Gwent and turn it into a bastion which cannot be bypassed?
It shall be done, my lady.
About 6 hours later, we have the same conversation with Sir Gwgan. Is there anything you'd like to do differently?
Okay, so yeah, actually quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. My lady, I have some strong thoughts on how we should proceed. But I remain, of course, your servant, so I will take whatever orders you give and ensure they are completely fulfilled.
A wise liege takes counsel from their knights, and you are a man well known for, what do they call it? Managing from below?
Managing up.
Managing up.
Yeah. King Serdek has, however tenuous, some claim. A claim that he will have to press. The other kings will not accept it, nor the collegiate. He seems to believe that he has forces sufficient to press said claim. And the problem is that any action on his part there has to go through Salisbury. So we could become the wall that defends all of Britain, but it's a wall that, if he has the forces he believes he has to press said claim, will fall quickly. I think that while we're in a situation where there is such an amount of flux in terms of Britain's leadership, that we should appear to be accepting of his claim without actually swearing fealty. We simply need to make sure that you never meet Serdek in person, that are support of him is purely political, not military, not even socially supported. The thing will be that if he marches his troops through these lands, he has established a beachhead at the Isle of Wight, but the collegiate is far to the north. He'll have to cross the country in order to press his claim, all the time stretching his forces thinner as he tries to maintain a connection with his power base. At any point that we feel that we no longer wish to support him, we simply close swords around the tail of his forces.
Is this, you think, a wholly honorable course of action?
I don't know that in terms of outright warfare and the claim to try and gain control of all of Britain, that honor is something that is done between nobles and lords and men in battle. Honor is not conducted with armies in invasions. This is purely a tactical decision rather than one based on what is the most honorable.
That is certainly a narrow interpretation of the chivalric code, Sir Gwgan, one that philosophers will undoubtedly debate for generations. You suggest that we offer lip service to Wessex, or southern West Essex, West South Essex? Let's call them the Gawessi. How about that? You suggest that we offer them nothing and make no attempt to ever meet with them, but do not anger them in any way.
No, I simply say that yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that we simply say to them that we wish them all luck in establishing their claim, and let them break themselves upon whatever anvil Britain offers them, but not Salisbury.
All right, James. I'm gonna offer you a little bait here. Do a little dangling here.
All right.
No matter which skill you use, if you're successful, you can put a check mark in it.
All right.
Whether or not she considers your advice will depend on an orate or an intrigue roll.
All right. I'm going to go with orate because I'm good at that right now. So
Yes,
so you know,
there it is. There it is.
So what I'm doing this year, part of my plan this year was I'm looking to hire an expert, and I was probably going to hire in like an Italian woman because they have excellent intrigue, because Gwgan has decided that at this point in time, intrigue is required because the traditional rules of combat and chivalry and honor have fallen apart with the death of the king, and that he's now realized from his critical success from the other roles last session that he needs to learn these things in order to help Britain as such. So, but he hasn't done that yet. So right now he's relying upon the strength of his words rather than...
What incredible pride he has that he believes that he has to learn intrigue to help all of Britain.
Yeah. May I impassion, depending whether I ask for a more Ellen or loyalty lord? Do you see a problem with either of those?
I love the idea of a more Ellen. You're like, I love you so much. I want you to do what I want.
Well, it's from
this is where the Italian woman comes from. I see now.
I mean, a more, once again, it's not so much love as,
I know, it's simping. Yeah, I got it.
Simping,
she's your Oshi.
Yeah, I mean, my more is lower though. Like, if from a purely mechanical perspective, loyalty lord would be better. But I think
listen, you can roll either one. I gotcha.
Like, I'm thinking about, I'm going to go with loyalty lord. I'm not doing this for her. I'm doing this for the country. So I'm going to go loyalty lord in this case. All right, I would have passed a more on that as well. So
incredible.
All right, so here we go.
Steven Universe had a whole song about this.
There you go. I succeeded on a rate.
You can check mark it. It's not so much that you've convinced her, but you've convinced everyone in this room as well. That people who were like, we should kill Sir Dick, are now like, what if we just ignore him and pretend he doesn't exist? And whenever anybody asks us, we're just like, yeah, that guy, he's the king.
Yeah, lots of people are going to call themselves king in the next few years. You know, if you start a fight every time you don't agree with somebody, we're going to be in a lot of fights.
When we return for the third of this particular act, we are going to have a talk between two men who have problems with Merlin. A clash of magicators. So can't wait to see Kendric's conversation with this particular gentleman. Spoon was not ready for this. He was like, this isn't in the Great Pendragon campaign.
Well, and
my answer was, neither is spaghetti until it gets wet.
I mean, the funny thing with the Great Pendragon campaign is that, like, King Cerdic turns up, says, I'm the king, and then never gets mentioned again.
Yeah, okay. That's definitely how I'm going to run it. That's crazy. We're back for the third. Kendric, you enter a hall that has servants, few retainers. The king and his son, both of them have what one might call the drip on. They are full on displaying immense wealth with gold necklaces, many rings of jewelry, gems sparkling. They both look like they've bathed not only recently but regularly and smell good even over the smell of the feast. As Cerdic gestures for you to sit at his left hand above the salt, where it's just you, his son, and him. And of course the servants here.
I like nod to Hayden to take a seat, and then like below the salt, and I step up to sit next to the king. Your Majesty.
Sir Kendric, great to see you. I'm sorry to have to call you.
I was surprised to get a message from you personally.
Well, there are not many who claim personal vengeance against the wizard Merlin as publicly as you. And you are also well known as a man of vengeance, as a man hunting, a wild man on the battlefield. And also, might I say, according to the rumors, in the bedroom. You know, I see a little Saxony in you. Have you ever wondered if you might receive patronage from Woden?
Patronage, as in?
He could be shining his light down on you at any moment. But what would I know of that as a Christian? Many of my subjects, however, are Saxons, and I have absorbed such small talk, and I would compare you favorably to some of his great berserker champions.
Well, I follow Andraste, goddess of victory, and I know little of the Saxon gods.
Conversions happen all the time, and that sort of thing, you know. Let me be frank. Spent way too much time among the Franks, fighting them. Minor skirmishes with other Saxons. I'm here to stay. And part of that will require removing the wizard Merlin from any sort of interference. You know, he killed my father from afar using dark and sick magics. And as a Christian, I cannot believe that any Christian king would want the son of the devil to be in their service. Just one of the many sickening crimes of Uther Pendragon and all of his line. But I'm not here to demean the Pendragon line. I'm here to end Merlin's. I would have someone who can show respect and loyalty to me, but who has the respect and loyalty of all of Brett now. to hunt down the wizard Merlin and bring me his head. Someone who has a freedom of movement throughout this country that I may not currently and quickly attain. To silence the archdruid and end his reign forever. His evils still taint the land. They speak of some prince stolen directly from the loins of Uther. You blamed for his crime? And now there's some sort of nonsense about an anvil and a true king. Have no fear. As soon as I can make it to Londonium, I will remove my sword from the stone. And it will be recognized that I am the High King, the true king of Breton. But until such a time as I can make my peaceable, recognized way there, I need a hunter in the field. Someone with a taste for blood and vengeance. Can I count on you?
Well, my lord, I have sworn an oath to the Countess of Salisbury, and I would not abandon my duties to her, despite my hatred of Merlin. And frankly, I don't know that I could find the wizard, despite my skill as a hunter. He seems to come and go as he pleases. They say he walks the woods in robes of white.
I heard it was robes of gray. Dirty robes. Of a traveling druid, but sure. You hear all sorts of things. I heard that there was a hammer in an anvil behind the church.
That I can tell you, it is definitely a sword, and it is definitely in front of the cathedral. I've been there.
So you understand things can get mixed up. All
Yes,
right.
of course.
Listen, I thought you were my point man, my go-to guy. I was hoping to get someone to execute my vision, sort of executioner. I can see that that's not you. You've got qualms. You're qualming.
Well, I have other responsibilities, my lord, that require my attention first. However,
All of
I will
Logris calls you at this moment, and you don't answer the call, and that's fine, Sir Kendric. I will find another loyal, competent knight who can do this for me.
Very well, my lord.
Please. Enjoy the bounty of my table, provided for by the generous peasants of Antone who have recognized me as their High King.
Of course. Your hospitality is generous.
Such hospitality could be extended at all times to those who first swear loyalty to me. It's a sort of scheme where the first ones in get at the top of the structure, and then there's like a building of like, then there's the middling lords, there'll be more of them, and then there'll be like the lowest rank lords who will get the least rewards.
It's almost pyramid shaped.
Yeah,
I would say it's
I was gonna
ziggurat shaped. I would call it a ziggurat scheme, really.
How many nobles do I have to pull into this ziggurat scheme?
Listen, I'm not asking you to pull nobles in. I just thought you could be my executioner. You could be my right-hand guy in taking down Merlin. We could have done a lot together, but I see. You need time to think this over. It's disappointing to me, but I have faith you'll come around one day soon.
Very well.
He rolls up his sleeves as he stands up and says, well, in the story of beginning of my rule of Britain, I can tell you, you'll definitely hear from me again, he says as he turns and walks out of the room.
I have no doubt.
I don't know whether you mentioned it on stream or not, but he actually is not mentioned ever again in the Great Pendragon campaign.
His son is, though.
Yes, of course. Yeah, but this is a big deal, and it's insane that they wouldn't make a bigger deal in the campaign about it. There's also several historical inaccuracies in this year in regards to how old Robert is, and also they have some king in France that converts to Christianity 12 years before he historically does. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. That's how we're going to do it, I guess. You tell me what you want to do from this point, Kendric. You're our point man until you make it back to Salisbury.
I was going to say, while I'm here, you know, I'd like to go around and like speak to his are they
his son is still at the table.
Oh, okay, I'll talk to Kendric.
Yeah, Kendric is just like, hey, what's up? I'm Kendric, the Prince of Britain, also of parts of Saxony and obviously Hampshire now. What's going on, man?
Of course. I was curious as to what. I mean, obviously, your
he
father
leans
is
into one. He's
interested.
like, "Listen, let me ask you a question. Can I like alter the trajectory of your life real quick?"
That's very possible. You are a prince.
I've noticed that ever since I haven't spent a lot of time in Britain, but I'm noticing that a lot of Bretons don't bathe regularly. It's like a once a week. It's not as bad as the Franks, you know, with their like once a month in a river thing. I was just saying, you know, like you guys could take care of yourself. You could do a little glow up. You know, you can see I've obviously got my beard trimmed quite well. You look a little wild. We could, you know, we could get of ancient image of the Elder Bretonics out of you. You're like marble. I see the shape you could be with like a nice trim. We get your hair back in some sweet braids. We kind of get you washed. I got some perfume in my room if you want to try some. And then we see how you do. Like, I heard that you're married, but like not really. We, you know, there's a lot of ladies around here whose husband were recently brutally murdered by my father. So I'm just saying, you know, what happens in Hanton stays in Hanton. We could see how your life could be changed if you got in on the High King's level. That's all I'm saying. Like, we get you a shave, not even a shave, just like a trim and regular bathing. We try out some hairstyles from the old country.
I appreciate the hustle, friends. I think you're going to go on to do great things.
You'll be hearing about me again for sure.
No doubt.
I can't sell you on this, huh? I guess it's just not
I could try out some of your, you know, your regular bathing things and maybe the hair braiding.
Okay.
But
okay.
I'm definitely married, though. Definitely married.
Yeah.
I was curious.
You're not Christian, though.
That is true. When you do go to war, do you fight as Britons or do you fight as Saxons?
First off, we are Brits.
Of course.
We don't want to go to war here. Okay. And obviously, the college is going. First off, there's not even that many members of the college left. So it's not like we need to alter the mindset of that many people.
Of course.
Right? Like, Earl Roderick was a member of the college, but the college is made up of men. So, you know, we're not going to let a 4-year-old cast a vote. We're not going to let his mom cast a vote either. Right? You know what I mean? Like, that's one vote we don't need to worry about. Abstention via death. All right? You understand? We don't want war. We just want everyone to recognize that my father is High King. I'm the prince. Everyone owes us loyalty and tribute, as is correct under the chivalric code.
And I'm sure your father is very charismatic. He will have no trouble convincing the legates. I was just, as a matter of theoretical, talk amongst warriors.
We're Bretonic knights, all right? You know, we use the sword, we use the lance. You don't see us out there running around like savages with axes or something. Right? Am I right?
painting your body blue. You know,
yeah, exactly. You get it. Like
Wotan.
we have auxiliaries that do those kinds of things for us, but you know, in a very Roman way. You got to work with the allies you have, not the allies you want.
I
Look,
understand.
they owe us loyalty, fealty, service. We're going to use them. We're going to use them well. And we don't care if they're chanting Wotan, Wotan. It doesn't matter as long as all of Britain is united under one rule. All right? Classic rulership, all right? This is leadership 101 that I've learned in foreign lands, all right? You got to let the local cultures do whatever they want. As long as they send you money and food, I don't care who they're worshiping, all right?
I think
Regular
Kendric,
bathing would be nice, though.
picks up a mug and is like, to the High King, and I think in his heart he means anyone other than Kendric.
He's like, right on to the High King. Should I take that as an official oath of fealty?
No, official oaths of fealty require much more.
Okay.
You know,
it's a weird oath then. Really weird.
Well, it's just a toast. It was a toast to his, you know, his health.
Legally binding, but okay. Yeah, sure. To the health of the High King, who you recognize him as the High King of Britain. But yeah, we got it. We got it. He like looks at his scribe. He's like, we got that on record, right? Yeah. Good. Just make sure to send that to everybody in the land. Sir Kendric recognizes High King. The young wolf, the mad bear.
So I think he'll just.
He's still saying all this out loud.
Well, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
you're looking for like a complex braid pattern, like something spiritually significant, or you just want what looks cool right now?
You know, show me. You know, open up your little catalog of hair braid and show me what you got.
He shows you dreadlocks, which also originated from Viking culture and made their way south. 2 separate continents coming up with the same idea of tightly weaving hair onto the side of your head in rows.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got some like botanic hair banding, you know, weaving important pagan symbols into your hair sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that.
All right, you just get some simple braids, make you look like a dwarf.
Sure.
It's like, you know, one thing we could do is to like shave your head until there's just like one strip down the middle.
Do a little Bjorn Ironsides.
You know, the kind of people that do that in the Southern Saxony take oaths to go out and slay their enemies before they do it.
Interesting.
Oh my God, Chad is like, is this guy trying to become the Prince of Britain or a social media influencer? Guys, I don't know if you know what the nobility looks like in this day and age, but tell me they're not the same thing. Oh my God, could you imagine if Machiavelli lived today and wrote his book? The prince shall not post pictures of his dick on the internet. Here's a long-winded story on why that went badly for someone else.
Yeah, so Kendric will just, you know, spend the rest of the night, you know, feasting it.
There is a desperation in how the prince approaches you to try to get any vow of loyalty out of you.
Yeah, there isn't any.
It's timeshare, door-to-door vacuum salesman level of desperation to get one loyal, famous Breton on their side.
I will listen to the pitch for the free meal.
They offer you a timeshare on the Isle of Wight. If you'll just sign on. It comes with a free manor.
Yeah.
3 months of the year. It's winter.
Pass.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Kendric. When you're spending your year, when you're winter, don't you want to be in the southernmost, warmest part of Britain when you do it? Don't you want those warm Gulf Stream waters?
From the English Channel.
From the English Channel. Somewhere,
And then
1,000 years in the future, Horatio Hornblower is going to get sick in the waters outside Anton. You got sick in Spithead. You're the worst sailor of a generation. Okay. You leave, having signed your name to nothing.
Mhm.
You are allowed to go free. Salisbury is on high alert when you return. Sir Kyned and Sir Gwgan have been rerouted to the castle of Sir Gwent.
Okay. Am I going back to Sarum then?
You can, or you
Or just
could
wherever.
meet up with the Order of the Axe. who
Yeah,
have been-
I think because it's not on the way, but it's close enough
Sure.
that I will go meet with them first.
Okay. So Gwent's castle is quite strange. It looks like it's extremely poor. I don't mean poorly maintained, I mean poor. There are like weird sigils set into the exterior of the castle, of like Solomonic circles made of silver dust. There are lanterns placed at regular intervals around the area. There's siege weapons placed on the highest walls with huge, like, ballista with, like, logs. Just something you could take a giant down with, essentially. And the men who walk these walls are grim. They're like custodians of the darkness, really. I wasn't going to say that, but Spoon has been, I'm like, here's some, medieval Christian iconography of anti-witch behavior. And Spoon's been like, Warhammer 40K. So I was like, all right, we'll just go in on that. Sure. You find Gwgan, Kyned, and Hayden all playing a game of Gwent with Gwent. Yes, these wardens are gray, as well as knights who are also gray. You want me to just cross over to Dragon Age as well, They drink the blood of the witch in order to become witch hunters. Vin Diesel's character from Witch Hunter shows up as well.
It's all about family.
Yeah. Brothers.
Kendric, I think this game has gotten too much for me. I think it's time to bow out anyway now. I'll put my
Hayden's
cards down
just
on the
like,
table.
I don't know how to play Gwent. I learned how to play sorcery with Kendric.
How did your meeting with the king go?
Inconclusive, at least from his end. He really wanted me to go kill Merlin. But I don't think...
Perceive a threat from the Archdruid?
Maybe. It might have just been vengeance for Vortigern's death, although I don't know that Merlin personally killed Vortigern, but I think...
We side cut to Merlin, who's like reading a newspaper that says, Wizard Merlin on the run, accused of killing the new High King's father. He's like, he did that. We go back to Kendric, like, I don't know that he did that.
Yeah, I thought it was Uther.
Yeah, or Ambrosius, actually, I thought was, but in any case, he seems to blame him.
Nice or noble.
Yeah. I have no love for the Gwesiv, though. I know many of my friends' grandfathers died at the Night of Long Knives, but I don't know that Kendric has what it takes to be king.
My advice to the Countess was that we simply let them pass, let them break themselves on the walls of Britain. I think that for us to try and hold them in Salisbury would be a long and difficult campaign that would hurt the country more than it would help the country. I think that Cerdic may soon find that he simply can't exert his claim without force of arms, and he can't have force of arms so far from his base of operations.
Regardless, though, I think we need to remain on friendly terms with them. As well, it may be a long and costly campaign. I don't see us having the forces to withstand him in the end. Like, we could bleed him, but I don't know that we would win.
No, I agree.
And about how old was he, Kendric?
You're asking about the king, not his son.
Yeah, the king, not the prince. The prince is like 20-something, I think.
Yeah, he looks well, but at least in his 40s.
Okay.
You know, it's hard to tell. He didn't exactly give you his ASL when you arrived.
Right. But I would put him like younger than Uther for sure, but older than me.
I mean, Vortigern died 30 years ago, and if it's his son, then it's, it gives you it aids him to a certain degree.
Perhaps, if not, Kendric, his son Kendric, could be a valuable ally when he assumes his father's mantle. But it is unsettling to have a force of Saxons so close.
Mm.
The Essexians, at least, were on the other side of Silchester.
Well, the Countess did send for our allies from Essex to see if they wanted to come and take issue with Cerdic.
Well, I don't.
Gotta get something for all those cattle that we gave away.
I expect no response.
Yeah, I don't expect them to show up with shield walls ready to defend us. Nor do I think Kendric has any intention of marching north anytime soon.
Actually, I probably expect a response something along the lines of, we're having trouble getting our forces mustered. Send another 1,000 pounds of silver, and we'll be able to be there post haste.
DLC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, send it via Western Union money transfer.
Increase the speed at which your forces arrive.
I was talking more like scam emails where it's like, we're
doing DLC where it's like premium. Forces arrive 1 week early if you
subscribe.
1,000 silver gems.
I saw there were levies and armsmen outside. I think I do not command you, but I think we are safe for the time being.
You hear a horn from outside the castle of a messenger approaching. And Sir Gwent says, "Excuse me, I must go and see what is the matter." He claps you on the back, Kendric, and gestures for you to sit.
All right.
I'll check Gwen's hand to see if there's any good when he leaves.
It's like Spider Monster, Manticore, thing that lets you summon spider monsters in your hand to the field if you play it.
Shouldn't have folded.
You had a dagger of +9 to spider slaying. A few minutes later, he returns and says, "Sir Kendric, there is a messenger outside who wishes to speak with you. He looks uncannily like Sir Patrick Stewart."
Interesting. Very well.
You go to the front gate, which has been unbarred and opened, and there is a messenger there wearing the colors of Silchester, who says, "Are you Sir Kendric?"
I am.
"I bring a message from my lord."
Eucophius.
Yes, he says, "What the fuck?"
That's all.
Do you have any reply, sir?
Tell him he needs to appoint someone better to Levcomagus and the surrounding area.
There is no one in Levcomagus, my lord.
Well, very well. Tell him I'll meet with him next year and bring him what I took.
When I return to give him that message, should I include your smirk and maybe imply that you mean to kill him in battle?
No. I don't care if you include my smirk or not, but obviously Silchester is struggling just as much as everyone else is.
We're doing pretty good.
Maybe in the east. In any case.
I have your promise then that you will return the £3 personally to Duke Ulfius next summer.
Yes, you do.
Very well. I shall return to take your message. As he leaves, he goes, it costs almost £3 to hire me to come down here. Jesus. What a waste. The roaming charges, the bandit fee. It's just, he's mauling as he leaves. I feel like this is a good place to stop as Sir Kendric comes in. I might give you all time to think about what your next plan is while you wait to hear about Essex's response and the counter response from all involved parties. Well, how do we feel about this episode that we made it to the end of somehow?
It was good, I thought.
Yep. Always do it when you're going to split the whole group, and we were pretty split most of the time, but we handled it well.
Hey, we're experts. We've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
We may not be knighted actors like Sir Patrick Stewart. Or who's the guy who played Gandalf?
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah. Also knighted, right?
Yep.
A lot of knighted British people in today's episode, I guess.
I was telling Spoon during the last break when you went there, AP, that I had my own intrigue role here today because I mentioned I did a session 0 for my new group last night, and today one of the husbands of one of the players contacted me saying, "Hey, can I join the game too? My wife told me to ask you, if you're okay with it." And so I said I was trying to ask everyone else, but I first thing was I messaged his wife saying, "Hey, you're okay with your husband joining the group?" And she's like, "No, I don't want him to join. This is my game. He needs to look after the kids while I'm playing." Like, well, could you tell him that rather than putting him onto me for me to say no to?
Incredible. Oh, how did that come about?
So passive aggressive.
So what next session looks like? Are we going to do winter phase then? Is this the
We're
end
still
of
in the middle of,
496?
we haven't even done the hunt yet, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. We have the hunt.
And then we got court, and then winter. There's there's a lot going on. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We can't always be raiding Silchester and then returning everything that we stole. What are you gonna do if he demands interest on the £3?
I'm gonna go.
£3
What's interest?
plus 10 denarius.
Tell him that usury is not a knightly virtue.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not it's not a Christian virtue. That doesn't mean
Is Ulfius Christian or pagan?
he is Christian, but Kendric is pagan, so I don't think it's weird to demand usury of him. And you could still lend money with interest. It just had to be really low, like 1% or 2, I believe. Not that I'm a Christian scholar, but the number was quite low. That I believe that was established way later than right now, though.
So I would ask James and Glimo, like, what are your guys' thoughts on what we should do moving forward?
In terms of with Kendric?
Yeah, like Kendric, and I assume Essex is going to be back next year, and like Dugolfius is. I don't know if he's going to be a part of this or not, but like,
I think you're always going to play it year by year, really. I mean, this is the anarchy period. That's what it's all about.
Although, I would say if Essex doesn't step up and help, then there'll be some question about whether we got our money's worth come next year.
Yeah, but the thing is that that's not how protection rackets work.
yeah.
I know. But,
yeah.
But maybe we exchange.
It will factor into the calculus as to whether or not we sign on again or
or find a new racket.
Yep.
A new racket?
Yeah, basically somebody else going, hey, give us money and we won't raid you and we'll protect you from other people who
you
do.
skipped over the timeshare and instead you invite the gangsters into your house. Incredible.
I'm not inviting anyone. They're going to show up whether we like it or not. I mean, I'm just waiting for Sussex to send somebody.
Sussex shows up and is like, hey, listen, we know you're paying Essex, but what if you also paid us? We're not saying stop paying Essex. We're saying you should also pay us.
Maybe we'll just start raiding Wessex, but as not openly.
Incredible.
new page who this.
Yeah.
When did we say our next stream was? Is it
2 weeks, yeah?
I am
2
yeah,
weeks?
2 weeks.
So
I'm not available next weekend.
And I'm out the 17th.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
9
the
weeks.
24th.
24th, I'm gonna be iffy because of a work thing.
Weep.
I'll know
Viewers
more
of
as it
this
gets,
show openly cry and gnash your teeth.
I'll know more as it gets closer, but I am scheduled to work that weekend, and I'm not sure if it's gonna bleed into the evening.
Okay, that's okay. February is one of those months that have 31 days, right? So we'll still get another game in February, right? Right, Mega Cope, right? Hey, I'll see you guys on the 2nd of next month, I guess. We'll see.
Maybe the 24th. I'm
We'll see.
I'll see.
We'll see. Hey, you know what? Pal World will be over by then. The next time we meet, Pal World will be cooked. Done. Absolutely gone. The lawsuits James has been praying for will come down on them. Wait, is that the goodbye screen? No, you can't cut me off. I'm me. I can't cut myself